Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms policy, politics, culture, you name it. We're talking about right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment, like and share this program, whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, or you're listening to us on Apple Podcast, Apple iTunes, or Spotify, or Google Podcast. However you are tuning in, please make sure to let your friends know so that they can join in the conversation. Also, please take some time and go to fbcgear.com. That's fbcgear.com. This is a very cool place where you can go and you can purchase all sorts of Pro 2A swag, T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, you name it. They're all there. It's Christmas time, so it's a great time to actually, maybe help a friend, come out of the gun closet and show their support for the Second Amendment, but also know that you'll actually be supporting the Second Amendment because every dollar that you spend goes right back into the fight to keep and bear arms. That's FBCGear.com. It's Christmas time. Last week, obviously, you guys, I don't know if you missed me. I hope you missed me, but last few days I was in San Francisco. Yeah, I know, San Francisco, but I go to an annual school boards conference, and one of the things that I do while I'm there, after I'm done doing all of my business, is my wife and I kind of like to use that as our annual kind of shopping. So, she gets stuff rather than, just pick out, presents for each other. We just go and we're like, okay, what do you want? And we go shopping. And it's always interesting because, San Francisco being what San Francisco is, it's a place that pretty much I go maybe once every couple of years. And it's really, honestly, it's only when the school board conference is there. But one of the things that came up when I was thinking about Christmas shopping was, news about one of our favorite retailers, Dick's Sporting Goods. That's right. Dick's Sporting Goods, for those of you who are not aware, let's just say that they made a decision a little while back relating to firearms, relating to sales of firearms to those under the age of 21, as well as the types of firearms they were going to sell. And it appears that consumers are not responding real well.
Look what happened to the share price of Dick's Sporting Goods yesterday. Sales dropped, and so did the stock, because of a recent change in their gun policy. Can't buy a gun at Dick's Sporting Goods if you're under 21, and you can't buy an assault rifle either. Our next guest is a shareholder, and he went to the investor meeting a couple of months ago to confront executives about that gun policy. David Almasi is with us. David, thanks for coming on the show. I want you to tell us what happened at that shareholder meeting.
Well, for a long time, the corporate left has become the muscle for the political left. And I went to the shareholder meeting for Dick's Sporting Goods to confront them because they made a very political decision to stop selling guns at a chain that's known for hunting accessories. And they were very unhappy that I was bringing up the fact that their sales have been down ever since they made the decision to do so in late February. And ever since, they've been losing money. And the CEO, when I confronted him about it, he dug in. The company has dug in and decided that they're going to continue this policy, and I believe it's going to hurt the company and hurt us as shareholders.
So, in essence, they've decided, once again, even though they know that they're losing money, at least in terms of their stock, they don't care. They're still going to continue to dig in and lose money. And the thing is what's also happening is they're noticing that basically people are not going there. They're not going there to purchase not just firearms, and this is the important part. They're not just not purchasing firearms. They're not purchasing other stuff. They're not going there to purchase basketballs. They're not going there to purchase footballs. They're not going there to purchase running shoes. They're not going there to purchase basketball shoes. And they're definitely not going there to purchase hunting gear. Because obviously, if you're a hunter, chances are, it's not a given, but there's a greater chance that you're likely pro-Second Amendment. And if you have somebody who doesn't believe in your right to keep and bear arms, well, then perhaps maybe that's not a place that you're going to be shopping. And so Dick's has decided they're going to go a whole different direction. They're not only not going to change their policy, but they're actually considering doubling down in regards to hunting and firearms.
Months after removing assault rifles from all 732 of its stores, Dick's Sporting Goods is considering removing all hunting gear from its stores. The company's CEO, Edward Stack, made the announcement today. Stack said Dick's will test the concept at 10 locations. The 10 locations selected were ones where hunting goods were not selling well. Stack added that there are a number of additional locations where selling hunting goods are difficult. The additional space could be used for Dick's to sell higher margin items such as outerwear and clothing for team sports, especially baseball and soccer. Following today's announcement, stocks for Dick's rose 2.4%, showing investors welcomed the news. It's unconfirmed if the Bakersfield location would be one of those test locations.
All right, so in other words, they're going to start selling baseball and soccer stuff instead of selling hunting gear. Now, once again, they're testing this out to see how it goes, to see if they're going to sell additional product. I'm going to venture that they're not going to make up the margin that they have already lost, and that they're going to continue to lose. You know, I very much appreciate retailers, or not retailers, but retail customers who are actually deciding that when given the option, you're going to spend your money elsewhere. When I was talking earlier about San Francisco, it was kind of nice because, like, I cannot even begin to tell you, like 3 or 4 times I walked by the Levi Strauss store and I was like, oh, yeah, no, will not be buying anything there. Won't. Matter of fact, decided to walk in and say something to the clerk. I said, I just wanted you to know that the reason I'm not shopping in your store is because your boss is trying to take away my right to keep and bear arms. Thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas. And then left. Because, well, I could do that. Like I said, folks, when it comes to boycotts, I'm not the biggest believer in, well, hey, let's just boycott that company and never spend a nickel or a dime there. Because in the end, with in a lot of cases, you're just not going to be able to. I mean, like I said, there are so many things you would not even be able to do because so many of these corporatists who are basically, as you heard in that one piece, they are basically the muscle, the financial muscle of the left. But so many of these corporatists, you know, they're all over the place. So it's very difficult. But you can make different choices. You can say, you know what, if I can get this somewhere else, why not? If I can do this somewhere, why not? If I can change, if I can even reduce 20%, 30% of what I would have normally spent at that particular establishment, then why not? Why not at least explore the options? And, you know, do it that way. Dick's was easy. I never bought anything from Dick's. I've gone in there. I had gone in there in the past, and I had looked and I had shopped, but I never really found it to be a store that had a lot of stuff that I was interested in, or for it to be necessarily in close proximity. So it was kind of disappointing to me that I wasn't able to make a different choice with how I spent my money. But I've spent money at Walmart, and guess what? I don't spend what I used to. Not anywhere near what we as a family, we don't even spend anywhere near what we used to at Walmart. Why? Because of some of the positions that they've taken when it comes to firearms. If I get a chance, I will, whenever possible. My coffee. I stay away from Starbucks. I go to Dutch Bros. I look for opportunities to where I can spend my money someplace. If not at a place that honors and respects my right to keep and bear arms, at the very least, at a place that's silent on it, because quite frankly, that's not really their business or their place to tell me how to get in the way of my right to keep and bear arms. That's not their job. That's not what they're there to do. And when you start getting outside of your lane, then you start to lose me. Anyway, I hope that as the rest of this Christmas season goes on, I hope that you will consider that as you are seeking to spend your dollars, however you are seeking to spend them. If you can take a nice chunk of that and make sure, maybe a chunk that you would have otherwise spent at a company that's not pro-Second Amendment, now you can take that money and spend it somewhere else. please consider doing so. I would like for those companies to feel it. And when you do so, make sure you go to their Facebook page, make sure you go to their Twitter feed, make sure you go to their website and let them know how much you're not spending and why you're not spending it. Because I think it is important that they know, because we know that the other side, the multi-billionaires, are very, very vocal with their multi-million dollars. So it's time for us to do the same. All right, folks, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. I very much appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you joining us as we talk about firearms, politics, culture, and policy. Remember, we are the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.